Stewardship. A steward is defined as a caretaker, one whom takes care of another's property. When we make the commitment to follow Christ, we become stewards in His kingdom, entrusted to take care of the resources that God gives us, understanding all of our gifts belong to God. What then are we stewards of, and how does this look in real life? God has granted all of us differing amounts of time, talents, abilities, tools, finances, and so much more. And it is our responsibility as stewards to use those resources to help others experience His kingdom. Let's illustrate. Imagine that you store your resources in a jar. At any time, you can add resources to the jar. For example, your skills, your time, your finances. And you can also use resources by taking them out of the jar. When you get paid or develop skills or talents, those resources are placed in your jar. When you have to pay your bills or buy something, some will have to be taken out. When we accept Jesus Christ into our lives, we must recognize that those resources in the jar are gifts from God. We have access to the resources, and we decide how to use them. We are stewards of those gifts. Imagine all the amazing things we can do when we share our gifts of time, skills, talent, and treasures. Think of all the people we can bless and ministries that can flourish. Unfortunately, we have a natural tendency to forget that these resources are gifts from God. The common misperception is that I earned this, I deserve this, this is mine. This way of thinking puts a lid on the jar. We shut God out. This is the basis of poor stewardship. Thankfully, God's love can infiltrate every facet of our lives. When we open our hearts and commit to fully serving the Lord, the dynamic of stewardship changes drastically. We remove the lid from the jar. These offerings, gifts, and sacrifices that we give to Him are going to be blessed and used in amazing ways to transform lives from the kingdom. Our jars will always be changing. In some cases, the jar may feel empty. We may feel like we do not have enough gifts to share. In other cases, the jar may be overflowing. In Scripture, God teaches us the blessing of sharing our gifts, even when our jars feel empty, and the peril of closing the jar and keeping our overflowing gifts to ourselves. God will always use the gifts we share to do remarkable things. Miracles will happen and lives will be blessed. Let's choose to keep our jar lid removed and make sharing the resources with which God has blessed us a central part of our lives. Let's choose stewardship.